behind your couch weekend, wasn't it?
Didn't catch the game, but it was like 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Oh, who scored? Who scored? Who scored? Cole Palmer. I just,
That Fernandez -2 slapped hard. Shame. It
yeah,
was
yeah. So, hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the South African Fantasy Football Podcast. We're on episode 7 now, so we're going quite strong. How's everyone keeping?
Proper hide behind your couch weekend, wasn't it?
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wildcarded this week, so my result wasn't great. It was okay, but it wasn't great.
How did you feel about that? Because have you like watching other people's wildcard? I haven't seen any good wildcard.
So
Uh,
I just felt good because I went Salah over Saka.
yeah.
It was justified for now. I just hope it continues to stay justified over the next few weeks.
We can go straight into the meme of the week, which is "Come at the king, you best not miss." This one, Mohammed Waseem, you sent me this, but we spoke about this just as we
Yeah.
were choosing our captains in the last episode, and don't never back the early kickoff.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it actually, right? And I'm thinking the ones that I've only been successful, I think, back in the early kickoff once. It was Salah against, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if was it against Southampton or something, where he came off the bench and scored 2 goals and got a couple of assists or something. But I mean, even in that game, it felt like back in the early kickoff was dangerous because he was benched for that game. So I mean, everyone captained him, I think, that week. But I mean, it still paid off with him coming off the bench and getting some points. But nah, man, I think I'm just going to accept I'm never captaining someone at 12:30 kickoffs anymore. It's just not worth it.
But
It
It
then,
really
worked for
isn't
me
worth it.
back in the day with Harry Kane now
but
and
Mm.
then, but this time I don't know what came over me. And the saddest part about this game week, I'm gonna put it right out there, right first up, and I'm gonna tell everybody, like I told you guys, that I was this close to putting Palmer in my team and captaining
Oh
him.
my.
I swear, I literally did the move without clicking confirm, and then I just thought a little too far about it. I literally overthought it to a point where on Friday night I was looking at his record against Brighton. It just came up on Friday into my head that this man is going to score a couple of goals. And then I don't know what made me go with Trent instead. I said, no, maybe he's just a safer pick. Everyone's got him. I can't afford him. Let me go with Trent instead. Didn't pay off, safe to say. And I
Then,
could not sleep on Saturday night.
yeah, was a solid Trent one pointer that I think 6th minute or something, he got a yellow card for kicking the ball. And I'm like, this guy's not serious.
Absolute disaster class.
yeah, what are
All
your
round disaster class this weekend.
what are your thoughts? So before we get into Palmer, because we're going to discuss Palmer, the first thing is Trent. What are your thoughts on Trent as a pick? Because a lot of people still say he's such a good attacking asset, such a good attacking asset. But is Trent necessary for one, and is he worth his price point at this point?
I still like him. I still like him long term as a good pick. I think he's a very good route into that Liverpool attack. Plus, you're getting him as a defender and an attacker. It's a good combo deal. And he looked good. It's not like he looked poor. I mean, it's just when you do lose the clean sheet, you're usually very, very disappointed that now, okay, your clean sheet's gone, your defender's not getting a return. But with Trent, you still have the opportunity. And it might not be the best week to talk about it because he didn't deliver this week. But usually, he can still pull something from nothing. And he's getting more minutes now than he was in the first game or two. So he looks pretty much set in that Liverpool team, and he coming forward and stuff like that. I still like him for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
I my only thing with him at the moment is I don't know if he is as involved in the like in and around the box as he was under Klopp. That's the only thing that's been. I mean, I haven't watched Liverpool games very closely, so I know a lot of it's going through Salah at the moment, and I mean he's pulling a lot of the strings there. I don't see Trent as involved as he was under a Klopp team versus the slot team because I think they try to play much shorter passes, right? So Trent's 2 or 3 passes before the build up to a goal instead of the one either assisting or potentially in the box trying to score, which makes his appeal a little bit less at the moment. But I mean, I probably just got to watch more Liverpool games to probably have a better view of that.
Yeah, because he had a few good chances in the game.
Mm,
He had a few crosses that or pinpoint that the attackers missed out on. He had a great free kick saved as well, which was our first shot on target in the game.
Yeah,
It came, I think, half an hour into the game, but yeah, he was involved there as well. I think his first choice for those close range free kicks is also taking every second corner. So, and we are good from set pieces. If you look at Konate's
yeah.
goal and a couple of
Mm,
goals from the
One
centre
thing that
backs
wor
in
yeah, one
Champions
thing
League
that
as
worried
well.
me is I seen Robertson on more corners in this last game. I think in because he was taking corners from both sides, which I
They were
found
both
very
taking corners
strange.
from both sides. So no, they were going one in swinger, one out swinger, one in swinger, one out swinger,
Okay,
regardless of which side. So I paid
okay,
attention to that and I took note of that. That I think they both took an equal amount of corners.
okay.
My only thing is Trent has more defensive returns this season than he does attacking returns. And if Liverpool are going to keep clean sheets and he's not going to deliver attackingly, why not just go cheaper? We spoke about Arsenal being the premium defense. City will always have a good defense. If you downgrade Trent to a Konate who's five, why can't you get Konate, Gabriel, and Guardiola? A lot of people going Lewis. So you have three solid defenders. I think I don't know. I'm just thinking, and oh, that's one thing definitely on my radar. And I think Trent is an interesting pick at the moment because
Uh,
he at the start he wasn't getting 90 minutes as well.
Konate has
So
been getting returns, which has been surprising, right? I mean, was it two returns in two games, not attacking returns, right? Two assists,
yeah,
or was it one
Yeah,
assist, one goal?
one assist,
he
one
scored in the
goal.
Champions League as well.
Yeah, no,
So
he's
if you
getting
look at that,
involved.
then it's two goals in a
Yeah.
couple of games.
Mm.
Crazy. But also Vardiol is a great option to look at because I saw a stat earlier about how many shots he's had or something, plus how good he was this weekend, just the goal early on. If he can continue to start and continue to, make a name for himself and make a place for himself in a team, then he's definitely maybe someone you can consider in place of Trent.
Yeah.
So at that
Um,
price point is cheaper as well.
we can. I don't have the graphic up for the results, but we can quickly go through the results before we get into our teams. Um, and we can continue to talk about Guardiola and City because that was the first game of the game weeks. Did anybody catch the Newcastle vs City game and any thoughts on
Mm-mm.
that?
I
It's
think
out.
a
I
little
missed
bit
it.
late.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I missed it
I just caught
completely.
the highlights. I read quite a bit. Newcastle did dig deep. Um, I heard that Haaland was a bit quiet, but he did miss I think two chances they noted. Or two like expected chances. I don't know all the statistical terminology, but um, how is Gordon's now playing through the front while Isak's out. He's on penalties as well. Um, I still don't think Newcastle are great as an option just yet. I'm not sold on them. But City stumbling, and do you think without Rodri, that's going to be something to keep to continue, or do you think they'll get it right?
I think they need to find a solution. And I think that's probably what Pep's gonna probably do over the next few weeks. So like it probably puts me off more City assets at the moment because now he'll probably try and find, okay, what's the best balance in this team? Does Gundogan potentially play deeper? I think he tried Rico Lewis inverting this time and seeing what difference that made playing in like midfield. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see until he finds probably a decent balance in that team and gets the right players in there. But for now, I mean, defensively, I probably wouldn't invest in there at the moment because I know when Rodri is not there, they do become a little bit leaky anyway. So we'll have to see how it
Yeah,
goes.
that's the other thing. Guardiola, remember, he got an attacking return, not a defensive return.
Yeah,
Without Rodri, I'm also so it's a good point to make. But what are your thoughts on Rico Lewis? A lot of people wildcarded, a lot of people have him, and a lot of people have him as their third defender, like with
yeah,
no rotation. They got 4.0s on the bench. Like I think that's a bit risky.
it is very risky. I punted him because I knew I'd have at least three transfers in the bank by the time I probably, if he doesn't play one more other game, because I waited for team sheets to come as soon as he was confirmed. I said, okay, I'll play him this week. I know, but hopefully by next week I'll at least have two or three transfers. So if I need to downgrade him to another 4.5, at least there's a decent option there for me. But I think as an option for now, I think if he plays, he's got the potential to also get some attacking returns because when he inverts, he gets quite close to the box. So hopefully, he can get involved in some of the attacking play as well. But I think it is risky. But at 4.7 is an easy downgrade to a 4.5, where there are some like okay options at the moment.
While we're on your team, when you're talking about your team, let's transition into it because you wildcarded. One, we want to hear about that story because that was a last minute thing. Two, obviously not the wildcard you were hoping for, but your bench is amazing. So talk
Oh
us through
my
that as
word,
well, and
my
then
word.
then we'll continue with the fixtures after that. So yeah, I got your
Yes.
team up.
Yeah, so I considered Raya in this entire process to say, okay, now I want a solid goalkeeper that's probably a set and forget type of keeper. Didn't end up investing in him at all. I said, okay, I can probably get some decent returns from Sells and Flecken. And as you can see, both got a solid 2-pointer. So probably not the greatest option. My midfield I'm quite happy with, to be honest, because every midfielder I have in my team got a return this week. It's unfortunate McNeil was the one that sat bench compared to the others because I felt the other two had decent fixtures, like probably potential to get better returns. Plus, Everton haven't looked great, to be honest. McNeil was just there as like a fella that plays consistently his own set pieces, but it was painful to watch. And I was just thinking, why didn't I bench Chris Wood?
But,
So like Forest have the greatest attacking returns,
but
and I was
they
like,
were at
it
home.
is what it is. Yeah, they were at home, so I mean, it was an okay. I'm not unhappy with it. It's just unfortunate. I was praying Semenyo gets injured in the warm up last night and doesn't make the game, and we probably have McNeil coming on. But look, I guess in general I'm happy with the structure of the team. But Lewis was the one that was more punchy for me to try and see, okay, maybe I can take a chance here. But I think I've got the option to downgrade there for a player. The only problem I do have, I guess, in my midfield is that I've got like three cheap midfielders that I have to make a decision every week of two of the three I have to play. It just feels like it's going to be one of those ones where the one you bench gets the return and the other two probably blank. So I've given myself stress every week, but I think I'm happy with the composition of it for the short term, which I'm quite pleased about for now. The Solanke one was grateful that tapping towards the end did add a little bit of extra happiness to the results. So it was I mean it was I guess an average, very average wild card, but I think if I hadn't wild card, I would have probably got less anyway. So I wasn't too
Did you
unhappy with
check
the
what your
result.
team would have got if you didn't wildcard?
I was
I
going to
didn't do
ask
the
the
calc,
same.
but I would have had much more players not returning. So I think the wild card actually fixed my week a little bit more. So I mean I would have probably gone like a 30 or 40 pointer instead. So I wasn't too unhappy.
Um, we're gonna we'll transition back into our screen and just go through some more results because we can go to the Spurs United game next because you mentioned Solanke and now we like I guess red card it's not a accurate depiction of what could have been, but it seemed pretty good in the first 40 minutes. Um, what was your take on that, and Razeen as well? Like after Waseem, just let us know what you thought about that game.
I think we battered them regardless. I think the result would have probably been very similar. The only difference is that I mean there was a higher likelihood of tilt if they probably got a goal back. But I mean we dominated most of the game, um, created lots of chances. I think our age-old issue has just been putting away some of those chances, which I guess in general is concerning. But I think if we continued playing like that right throughout the game, I think the result would have come regardless. I mean, we were playing very free-flowing football. United looked very open, very unexpectedly open at the back. So I also think going forward, probably keeping a Spurs attacker in the team is probably going to be a must because they play very free flowing at the moment. So I mean, I think they've addressed some of the issues they had in the early weeks where scoring goals probably was a bit of an issue and from a creativity perspective. And there's some guys to potentially watch and that are reasonably priced to potentially look at for our teams.
Okay, we'll get into players soon. Razeen, any
How
comments
did
on?
how did you feel, Mohammed Waseem, when you heard that Son wasn't available for the game? He wasn't in
I
the
wasn't
squad.
surprised. I watched the Europa League. I seen he went down. I didn't expect him to make the game at all. I was shocked, not shocked, expected Werner to play, disappointed with how he played, as
Mm.
expected. Two very, I don't want to call it easy one-on-ones, but I mean, I think Son buries those two quite comfortably if he's in that
Yeah. Do you
position.
think it would have
So
been a good game for Son to find form in if he was fit?
I
He would have
think I
found
think
form
Son
in.
I think if Son plays, we probably score
Yeah.
five, six.
And
I
I
think
loved the
easily.
game. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved the game. I know Manchester United fans probably didn't catch much of the second half because Old Trafford looked quite empty after the hour
Mm,
mark. But I loved the game. It was just amazing to see, and I didn't expect it to be as one-sided. I mean, I don't think
same.
United were like they just didn't turn up again. It was similar to their performance against us earlier in the season,
Yeah,
and they
it's
probably
true.
bounced back again now. But they're definitely not. Like I think someone said it in one of the Champions League panels earlier on. I think it was Rio Ferdinand, and I don't know who else was there, but they said that United are not the favorites anymore going into games, and that's not something that they expect and that they used to. And I think that makes complete sense. They're not when you look at them on the fixture calendar and you see perhaps that red there for other teams, but United's not a difficult game, as a difficult a game as it used to be,
Mm,
and I don't think it should be regarded as a tough fixture anymore because I'm not just saying this as like a rival fan, but they're genuinely just not up to the mark. They're just very this or that. You don't really know what to expect from them, and I think that's quite exciting. It's exciting
yeah,
times.
it's Tuesday. I'm still surprised Ten Hag is in a job.
That's true.
I'm very surprised. Yeah, I'm very, very surprised.
Um, I'm gonna transition to my team because we can talk about Bruno Fernandes, the man I took out of my team in good space and time. I brought in Buemo. Everybody seems to have him, but another first minute goal. Buemo in the first minute,
Mm.
they it's. I wonder how long
You
that'll
gotta love him.
continue for.
But
But
Brentford look like they can't score in the other at the other minutes of the game. They can only score in minute one. I mean, the past three games they scored a goal in the first minute and
but
never scored
he's
again.
what we can just how was his goal? Because it looked copy and paste from his other two goals in
From
the
the
first
previous
minute.
one, yeah, he belts those volleys in. The control that he has on a volley at this moment in time is actually ridiculous.
But then on a side note as well, how good were so many of the goals this game week?
Yeah,
Because McNeil scored two absolute stunners.
yeah,
Um, that Leicester defender, I think it's
yeah. James Justin, that
James
second goal of
Justin.
his was
It
majestic.
was beautiful. It
Beauty, absolute
brought me
beauty.
back to memories of that Benjamin Pavard goal in the World Cup.
Oh
Oh yes,
yes,
in
the
the
World
World
That
Cup,
Cup.
you're
that
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
beauty,
That's so
yeah.
true.
Um, and there was a few others. Semenyo scored a good goal.
Palmer's
Um,
free kick.
Palmer's
Oh,
Yeah, Palmer's
Palmer's
free kick
goal,
was insane.
Palmer's free kick was beautiful. So it was a nice week for goals, just good, beautiful goals. But yeah, Fernandez, did you guys think that was a red card? And
Yeah, I think it was
yeah,
harsh.
I
I
also think
think
it was
it
a bit
was quite
harsh.
harsh.
Um, but United do
I
look a
liked it.
bit.
I mean, I feel it was a bit high. It was, he was a bit high. I mean, I don't think he was intentionally slipped a little bit, but even after he slipped, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, no, I
That's
mean
that's the
he
thing.
meant
Yeah,
to take the player out, but I don't think his lunge was as dangerous as the referee perceived it to be. I think
But as
so.
soon as you're making intentional fouls, I like that they're trying to stamp that out of the game a little bit,
Yeah.
in the sense that because they knew that it was intentional, you wanted to take him out. The fact that he went higher than he expected or higher than he wanted to,
Mm.
whatever, is besides the
It
point. He learned from his mistake there.
it was reckless, I guess. Yeah, so I guess that's why it made sense to put the
yeah.
red. But like even if they didn't give a red card, I don't think I would have been
They
as
probably, yeah, I don't think
disappointed.
VAR would have made it a red card
Yeah,
if it was given
overturned.
as a
Yeah, I don't
yellow,
think they would have
but it's
overturned.
also
Yeah.
one that's difficult to overturn once given as well.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
hundreds.
I'm just happy he's out of my team, and we mentioned it. I don't know why people had him in their team, and now it seems like people punted him for 3 games. He's out till November, so it's just
Yeah, that's
he,
rough.
the next question would be like Razeen, you mentioned this. United tend to bounce back, so who's going to get those points? Because the rest of the midfield is particularly cheap, apart from Rashford. So if you want to gamble, then there may be a move there, but I'm staying very far away. I'm quite
No,
happy.
you probably don't. You
Yeah,
probably don't gamble regardless. Because even if they do bounce back, maybe they bounce back for half of the game and they're playing Villa next. So just stay far from them if you
It's a
can.
rough fixture.
it's got me thinking though because they tend to bounce back, and I have Watkins in my team. I did quite well. I'm quite happy with my points because I think everybody would be sour without Palmer because he just ended the game week for everybody. But overall, I got 61. But I had Watkins who delivered was my highest point scorer over the game week with 11 points. Um, I'm a bit fearful for Villa United, but I'm not going to play my wildcard this week. I'm not looking to do much else. I'm happy with Konate return. I'm actually looking to take out Trent. Like I said, I know it's a big
Yeah.
surprise, but I feel like I have Konate. I don't have Arsenal. I don't have City. So I feel like
Mm.
I have space for another premium in another team, and I feel like Arsenal's fixtures are just better. So I'm looking, but I don't think I'll make a move this week.
The next three are great, isn't it? It was the next two
Yeah.
amazing fixtures.
Um, Arsenal. We haven't spoken about the Arsenal game, but the Arsenal game was 4-2. Um, and it seemed to be quite a quite a insane game. Um,
Very
I
chaotic.
very chaotic. Yeah, Saka got three bonus at one point with zero.
I don't understand. I could not understand
It
that for the life
changed
of
it.
me. It was
Yeah,
shocking.
I really think the guy who does these bonus points is trying his best to.
Yeah,
But it's again those new rules that we spoke about this beginning of the season about how it works. And I think if you watch the game, he's everywhere. He's involved. He's
yeah.
clearly
And
he's definitely doing something right, and now he's getting the credit for it, which is quite cool.
Yeah, I still haven't seen enough of the game to fully comment on how good Saka was. Everybody's talking about him, but I still think like I don't know if he's going to score a hat trick or anything. Even though they they, s-
Yeah, it's hard
they
to
said
see that.
he should have had two assists and a goal and all these things. He
he
maybe on
usually
penalties.
doesn't get that many returns in a game, right? He's consistent in terms he'll get you at least a return almost every game, but he
Yeah, I'm
doesn't
talking about
go.
in
He's
every game in terms of
Yeah,
points.
he's not the one that's going to go get you two or three returns in one game consistently. So that's why like I've always found it very hard to justify the Salah to Saka one, and especially so I also thought of it in the sense where if I get Saka in, how well do I invest that money in the rest of my team to then cover up those returns that I might potentially miss in Salah? And it's very hard in that like 7.5 mil price range to find a player to give you that consistent returns anyway. So Salah is still the no-brainer to keep for me, especially with I mean he's on pins and his involvement in Liverpool's build-up play in general is flipping important. So
Yeah,
I know he's
I
on our watch list to talk about later, but his price is
mm,
actually going down tonight.
oof,
wow, I
pain.
didn't know that.
That's
Um,
why I put him there on my to talk about list because his price is going down either tonight or tomorrow night. So if you don't have him, then it might be interesting to observe that now because he's probably someone you're going to want to get if you don't have him.
hmm.
Mm.
We on to your team now, Razeen. And you got 44 points. Talk us through it and talk us what you're looking at doing now.
I'm actually just gonna try and be as patient as possible right now because there's
Mm.
so much that I can do, but there's also so little I can really do. And I want to just hold out to that wild card for next week during the international break. So I think as soon as the game week begins this week, this coming game week, I will activate my wild card, start focusing on those price changes and stuff because I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush into playing the wild card this week, not knowing exactly what needs to be
Mm.
done. I like the look of my midfield. I think my defense is okay for this week as well in terms of the starting
I
lineup.
think your
And
starting. I think your starting 11's fine in general, to be honest. Maybe just the keeper might be the only issue there, but I don't
I'm
think there's
probably going to go with
any
Flecken
bad
against
players.
Wolves this week, which I have
Yeah,
no problem doing.
and
And
I
then I'm
think your
going to
11's
go with the
fine.
back four probably, put Mazraoui back in, and then let Smith Rowe sit bench. She's playing City. So that's what I was thinking of doing.
Mm. Maybe Smith
And
Rowe will try and
Haaland
do a
with the
favor for
armband.
Arsenal.
That would be
Maybe
nice.
Smith
That would
Rowe.
be good.
Yeah, so that's why he might have a little bit of extra interest in trying to upset City. So it will be worth a punt.
But I want to see our meme of the week is Salah early kickoff just has the highest haul of the weekend. Because I'm
The
probably going to captain Ireland this week. I think we probably all will, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I'm also thinking that. And I think like looking at your squad, I think that's a good analysis. I'm looking at my squad as well, and I have much less benching opportunity. I have to Fulham against City and I have to play. So like I'm glad that you taking a cautious approach to it, and I think that's the right approach. Hold off for a little while longer and see from there. Um,
And am I correct in saying, in terms of the transfer rules, if you bank a transfer this week and you have two transfers next week, and you then
Yes.
play your wild card, you still have two transfers after your
Yes.
wild card.
That's
that's
correct.
That's
yeah.
amazing, no?
Mm.
That's quite exciting. I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. So, yeah, at least I know that rolling this week's gonna prove advantages, even if I do
There's
wild
value
card.
in it. Hundreds.
Yeah, it's a new rule, and it's something that they've introduced. Like it's quite contentious. You can play a wild card effectively, have five transfers, and have another wild card
Yeah.
after that. Quite cool. But let's uh, let's talk about one more game. We've transitioned into the players now. I have Cole Palmer on the screen, but we'll talk a bit about the Chelsea game. Um, I was literally looking at this on my phone. I didn't catch the game, but it was like 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Oh, who scored? Who scored? Who scored? Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer. I just it looked like every time you every time I looked at my phone, there was another Cole Palmer goal. Um, yeah, like is he someone that we all need to get in quite quickly, or do you think it'll
I don't
die
know
down?
how to get him in. I honestly have no idea how I fit him into my squad. I have to remove so many. Like I have to like cancel my strike force entirely, and then probably also get rid of Trent. So I've got to probably downgrade Solanke to like a Vardy or someone, and then I guess move Trent to like a 4.5 million for me to even try and consider getting Palmer in. So I think the investment is a lot, but I mean Chelsea look good, right? I think this coach has come in and he stamped his authority down, saying these are my 25 whatever players in the squad. This is the only 25 I'm going to use, and it looks like the players have like responded quite well to it. So um, I think, I mean, well, Chelsea's fixtures I think are turning a little bit though, right? It's not probably
Yeah,
the easiest run that
that's the
they've got
thing.
coming,
I have it up, so
which
it's
puts me off slightly.
I have it up. It's Forest, Liverpool, Newcastle, United. Then they play Manchester, Arsenal, and Leicester.
Uh,
So like
but
Forest
I can
is
see Palmer
yeah.
getting a return in all though, right?
That's the
I'm like,
thing.
But can you see him getting another hat trick? Not against Forest. I don't think their
no,
line
probably not
is.
another Hattie.
I think they'll hold him up a bit better.
But I think
But you
he's
never know.
he's on a lot of the set pieces, so there's a high chance of
Yeah,
him getting assists. And
He's
I
the
mean
main man.
he's the main guy. They pulls the strings in that team, right? He's always in the box, on the edge of the box, making things happen. So I
In a
think
decade of playing fantasy, I've never taken a bigger knock than this one year in terms of wanting to put the man in, envisioning a return, and then him scoring 4 goals in front of my eyes. I had the Arsenal game on at first, I was sitting with a few friends and someone said Palmer scored. I just said, okay, whatever, I expected it. Then they said Palmer scored, and I'm like, okay. And then we switched to the Chelsea game. And then I think the third one was the penalty or the free kick. And I was like, okay, guys, I swear this is actually what happened. And they realized that this man is not sleeping tonight because of this actually happening. And literally, this has haunted me the entire weekend that I would have had 50 points extra had I just clicked confirm
that's
transfer.
pain. That's pain. Love
It was
it. I
difficult.
love it.
It
I
was
love it for you.
difficult, guys.
I love it for us.
yeah. Like I guess like it's gonna happen at some point. Like you're gonna have a player that just you're not gonna have a player that just scores big, and I didn't know he was 40% owned. That's mad ownership. And to be honest, anybody in
Surprising.
all my mini leagues, like the really close small ones, with all my close friends, none of them seem to have had him either. So it wasn't like a big thing for me in that point of view, just overall game week. Before, like, I do want to talk about Saka, but he'll be the next player up. But while we're on Chelsea, Brighton, what did you guys think of Brighton? Because they seem to be very leaky. And based on that, they don't look to have the strongest defense. Or was it just a case of Chelsea being really good?
No João Pedro, no Pachi. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
I mean, they haven't looked great to be honest. I think they started the season quite well, but I think they're dying off a little bit now, especially I think teams are probably figuring them out a little bit better. But I think Chelsea were also really good in that game, right? I
That's the
mean,
thing. I
they were
think
carving them open like crazy. Palmer could have had like six.
anybody who plays a high line, Chelsea just got a lot of pace. They have a lot of talent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sancho got 2 assists. Jackson is really fast, and he's really
yeah.
in your face. He is
He misses a lot of chances
Drogba-esque.
though, huh?
He
I
does, he
was
does,
shocked
He
at how
yeah.
does
many
miss a lot of
chances he
chances.
misses.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
but yeah, he's also everywhere. It's crazy. Chelsea was just this is different Chelsea this season. I mean,
Mm.
imagine Chelsea back in the top four like the olden days. We might just get it this year.
Now they're playing serious football again, and I think the
Mm.
coach. I think they just needed someone to come in and stamp authority down a little bit, and I think this guy's done it compared to Potter and Pochettino before him.
The I have Saka on the screen, and I just wanted to mention Saka because you mentioned Palmer and how to get him in your team. Obviously, the easy option is to take out Saka, but what about downgrading Saka to one of the other Arsenal midfielders? Saka has had a return in all, but Trossard and now Martinelli got on the score sheet. Trossard has been a little bit more consistent, but his minutes
Mm.
and his minutes have been better. Martinelli seems to be more nailed on, like he's going to start every game, but his minutes are managed a bit more, and he's only gotten
Yeah,
one return or two returns so far, I think. Saka definitely is the man to get, but would you consider would you consider downgrading him, or you think if you're going to go Arsenal attack, it's Saka, Havertz, and then the others?
I think if you want a whole long term, Saka's the one. Because I think Trossard and Martinelli will get rotated eventually. I mean, I don't see when Odegaard's going to come back, but I mean, if he's back within the next month or so, I think the Martinelli or Trossard pick is just a punt for a short term. Eventually, they're probably not worth it. But the problem is it worth ruining your team for that long term piece now to get Saka out? As much as he's consistent, the thing is, if you ever do want to bring him back, what's going to be your route to him eventually? And that's probably what would put me off getting rid of him if I had him. I mean, to get any Arsenal midfielder in my team at the moment seems like a pain.
But I think we just need a big Salah haul. We need a big Saka haul, and the game just goes completely wide open. Everyone's got their premium asset or two, but everyone's missing one of them, and they're all
Yes.
returning on all fronts, and it just opens up everything, and it just makes things so exciting. Because
No,
if you look
I
at
don't
all the
want it to
big
be
content
exciting.
creators,
Yeah,
if you look at
I
all the
don't
big
want.
content creators, they
Yeah.
all wildcarded, including Mohammed
Yes.
Waseem. They're all wildcarded this weekend, and nobody mentioned Palmer. And then Palmer just
Yeah.
goes and scores four, and he just like it's
No,
just
Um,
he
amazing. I
opened
just
it up.
love
He opened it
what's
up
happened to the
completely.
game in
Yeah.
that
yeah,
sense.
He,
Yeah, it's exciting. It's not like it used to be.
it's it's something to know. I really feel like these content creators that are guiding many people's teams, they've really done badly this year. Um,
no, they have.
Yeah,
I've watched. There was actually one, the actual official FPL show. I don't know if you guys catch it. It's
Mm.
usually Thursday. I think Thursday or Friday it gets released. They have guests now on all the time. Last few years they've had like people who've been consistent, but this year they seem to be getting new people every week. One of the guys on the show had Palmer in his team, and he said, "I'm not going to get Saka. I'm going to get Palmer," and he got Havertz instead. And I guess
What a move.
he
What a
did he
move.
did he did mention the
mm.
underlying stats, and he made it convincing. Unfortunately, I watched it a bit too late. Now I had no chance to bring anybody in because I had Fernandez issues, but yeah, I don't like the same narrative like everybody because throughout throughout the whole week we've seen literally the same wildcard draft,
Same
wildcard
team
draft,
exactly.
same
Yeah.
team.
And you speak about Fernandez and Andy from Let's Talk FPL put Fernandez in his team, and
Yeah.
his son, who's a kid, triple captain Palmer.
Palmer, what a
So
move.
it's just Twitter was berserk on Saturday. I loved it. I just love seeing what's happening to this guy because firstly he's a United fan. Secondly, he wants to hire 3 or 4 players in his the final deadline stream, and then that happens, and it's just oh yeah, see, that's what. Oh, I just love it. That's what this game's all
Yeah,
about.
that
Seriously.
that Fernandez -2 slapped hard. Shame.
Yeah,
It
yeah, it was
was painful.
a rough one. I
But
yeah.
I've been looking at getting Havertz in, and I mean, in my wildcard, I plotted, and then my Spurs bias told me no, it's fine. Solanke's better. I need a Spurs play in my team, and then somehow I just kept Solanke, which in the long term, I'm hoping pays off better than Havertz at the moment.
Havertz
Will
on the score sheet in the Champions League tonight again, I see.
I see. Yeah.
yeah. We'll
Currently
stick to
watching Barca, though, they're 4-0 up.
wow. We'll stick with Spurs because I got Brennan Johnson on the screen, coming at 6.4. Beautiful fixtures. But I just want to also mention before you say anything, Waseem, Brennan Johnson or Kulusevski, because I've heard a lot of good things about Kulusevski.
Kulusevski's created the most chances in the Premier League so far this season.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you want someone, and the thing is, he's been getting in the box, creating a lot of big chances. I mean, a lot of it's probably due to a lack of finishing within the squad. But I mean, he set up Werner for two one-on-ones this weekend, so he should have had another two returns. I mean, I think if Spurs can up their finishing, I think Kulusevski becomes a big option. Plus, he's getting into the box. He's not just carrying the ball and then letting the other guys do the work, which is making a big difference. I think Johnson though um, is probably seems to have been a better option at the moment. I mean, he's got four goals in 4 games, right, in all competitions. So he is involved more in the final third. Kulusevski at times, as much as he does a lot of ball carrying, can get involved, and then he's more yellow card risk and does silly things. Johnson, I mean, if his form is there, he'll probably hit the back of the net more often. And I think the way Spurs play, especially against teams that where we get a early, quick turnover, Johnson's the one that they look for because of his pace in behind. So I think I've been leaning more towards him at the moment, but Kulusevski's underlying numbers look probably a little bit better.
And when Son comes back, whose minutes get affected? Just Werner's
Werner, yeah, I think the team stays
only.
exactly the same, and Werner Son slots in left wing
So
Okay.
where is Kulusevski playing relative to Johnson? Because Johnson's out wide, cutting
inside.
in,
Yeah, so and Johnson is sorry, Kulusevski is playing inside right.
inside right. Okay.
Yeah, so like he's playing one of the eight, so him and Madison are there. So the thing is with Kulusevski, he's going to be up and down the entire game because Spurs eights need to defend as much as they attack. But if they
Okay.
keep the ball a lot, then
We have now Dwight McNeil up on the screen. 2 goals, 5.5. I think Razeen, you flagged him this week.
Sorry, man. I saw him on someone's bench, so I
Oh,
decided to talk
oh.
about him.
I
his
think
fixtures are
No,
great.
he's looking great. His fixtures are looking good. He was on fire. I think he was everywhere, and everyone was just talking about him during the goal rush as well. So I definitely added him to my watch list after that performance. And did we mention him last week or no?
we
We did, I
did
think. I think we did speak about him.
we
We
did
did,
mention
right?
him. Yeah, he was on our watch
I
list.
mean, and after Newcastle, he's got Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton in a row, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. It looks beautiful. The
And
thing
Everton
is,
look better with Brathwaite and
yeah,
I think Mikalenko back. They look much more like stable.
yeah. And, you can
And we
trust
spoke
Sean
about
Dykes.
Mikalenko last week.
Yeah, we did. Someone put him in his team.
Someone said put Keane instead, and they went to put Mikolenko in, and Keane wasn't playing. I couldn't. I was just like, okay, whatever. But then, unfortunately, all of that happened at the same time as Palmer, so I couldn't really mention it to you guys. But I thought about it afterwards in hindsight, you know?
No,
Keane the problem.
if Everton go on a run, I can see why people are punting Everton assets because their fixtures just look so good at the moment. Um,
And Daesh always gets it to work at some point in time.
He does. He always
Once he can
does.
get hoof ball going properly, consistently, then
yeah,
like I mean, then the likes of Brathwaite and Tarkowski become options because once that ball gets launched into that box, I mean, very physical team, right? Especially with what they construct. So I think they're decent. And even that Ndiaye, I mean, I've watched him for quite a while, the different teams he's played. I think he's very creative and adds a different dynamic to their build up as well.
mm, um, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on them. I have Kai Havertz up on the screen now, and I guess he's one I'm also trying to get into my team because I have no Arsenal assets. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean Southampton, who look horrible at the moment. They got beaten 3-1 by Bournemouth. I guess any asset you can get against them is
Yeah, you
is
must.
just good.
Maybe
Um,
Saka gets his hat trick against them. Huh?
Maybe
I
it's
wouldn't
not
bank
possible
against
because
it.
yeah, they're just so
Uh,
bad.
I actually feel if City play Southampton at home, I'm going to triple captain Haaland. It's just they're just so
Oof.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
and then I think
Havertz, I think, is a cheaper way. Is a cheaper way into the Arsenal team over Saka, right? If you really want
But it
a
just feels very
decent option.
similar to going with Diaz instead of Salah. It just feels like
I think so.
it'll
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah.
it's not perfect, you know?
hmm,
I think when he plays as a nine, I think one if Odegaard's back, I think he's much more influential and he links up the play a lot. I think he'll get much more assists playing up top. He'll probably get a decent amount of points. And the thing is, he's also the type who he scores against the big teams, right? So, I mean, even in this run coming up, their run looks a little bit rough, but I mean, I can see Havertz getting returns in those games.
Yeah.
I agree. Like he looks better when he plays up front when Odegaard's in the team. Um,
Mm,
a player who's got 2 goals this week is Liam Delap. We mentioned him briefly, I think 2 weeks ago, as a 5.5 because Ipswich fixtures were just so good. He's guaranteed minutes. He looks like he's got um, a goal or two in him. He scored
He
a
played well.
he
and
scored
they score he's
a
really good
really good
goals.
goal.
He scored
Yeah,
really good goals. Yeah.
so it's definitely worth a look at for sure. Um, would anyone take a chance on him now at this point? I mean, it's West Ham who have a leaky
Mm,
defense, Everton who have a leaky defense, Bradford also have a leaky defense, Leicester, then Spurs United.
yeah. And I mean,
But
all fixtures that he can probably get goals. And I mean, Spurs, as much as we keep the ball a lot, a ball over the top. And I mean, if you look at some of the goals he scored, getting behind the defense and finishing is not something that um, he isn't good at. So I think he's punty. I have a little bit of regret now not considering him instead of Chris Wood. Looking at the
yeah,
fixture, then probably investing that little bit of extra funds elsewhere, maybe in my defense as well. So
yeah, I
I'll
think.
probably consider him in my
Hmm.
wild card next weekend for sure.
mm,
We've always spoken about the cheap midfielder, but I think the cheap striker right now is also uh, a big differential pick, especially with Jimenez
yeah,
firing, Wood on and off,
Hmm.
um, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting. I think he got a goal and assist 2 or 3 weeks ago. So
yeah,
that race is heating up as well to get the right cheap forward, potentially bench him on the weeks to get those scores right when they have tough fixtures. But it's definitely like I'm actually leaning towards two cheap strikers and boosting up my midfield. Um,
yeah.
I think I'd
It's
go
worth it.
there if I was wildcarding. Our last player on the list, we mentioned a little bit about him already, but Mohamed Salah and Razeen, you can kick us off on this. You were mentioning a price drop.
It was more about the price drop, the potential price drop, either tonight or tomorrow. It's looking like it's going to happen. And I think it's more for the guys that don't have him. I think if you own him, you just ignore the price drop and you keep him. It doesn't
Mm,
change your mind in any way about anything because he's still the main man at Liverpool and all of that. But I think for the guys who don't have him, the fact that he's going down in price might actually tempt them a little bit more. That was the main reason I actually just put him on the watch list because I saw that he was dropping in price tonight. And I said that
yeah.
might be worth noting.
How can you not trust Salah with hair? Like the head Salah with with less of a like with a what is it, shorter hairline, a longer hairline, whatever you call it. I mean, it's king stuff. It's what kings are made of, bro. He went to Turkey for that treatment, and man has come back as a different player.
I thought he
Can't
went
bet
for
against
Umbra.
that. No, I but I seen some implants. I think in the off season there were some pictures being shown. But
I
I mean,
haven't.
he's still a main guy.
Yeah,
His fixtures are okay. And I mean, even there's big fixtures. It's Salah. I mean, he's gonna score against anyone, so it really doesn't
yeah.
matter.
That's the thing.
Can't
I
wait
think.
to watch him on our first European night at Anfield of the season tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to that. Like I'm looking forward to Europe in general. But that's what we have for now. We'll be catching up with the Saturday stream for the first time. So if anybody's watching, just
That
keep
live
tabs on that.
stream.
Yeah,
Can't wait for that.
we'll speak about the fixtures and that from for the Saturday Sunday on Saturday. I know, Razeen, you're gearing up to watch the rest of the Champions League, so
You know it.
we'll leave today's stream at that. And thank you guys for being on the show as always. And all the best for the next game week.
Thanks, guys. Cheers till the deadline.
Cheers.